I understand that budgetary constraints always affect everything, but I would have thought that, you know, if they're not replying to me, how many other people are not people who ring, try to make contact, send emails, are not being responded to? And that's my issue there with the Maritime Museum.
No, absolutely, and that is not at all the standard I would expect from our team. So all I can do, not being aware of this beforehand, of course, is apologise, and certainly it would not be what I would expect. I would expect all inquiries to the museum to be handled promptly, and even if we can't help, we should certainly come to you and say, look, I'm sorry, under the circumstances we can't help, and point you in the direction of somebody who might be able to assist you if not us.
Okay, thank you.
Here we are, Glenn. As if you haven't got enough to do, get involved. Thank you very much. That was a very good... Oh, sorry, Councillor.
Could I just ask one question, Madam Chair? Vincent, my apologies for lateness. Vincent, the loan and rental arrangements for the Maritime Museum are rather complex. Has there been any progress in unravelling or rationalising that situation?
Well, it's particularly insofar as our lease goes and our tenure on that site. We are working on it. It's a big problem. When the museum's lease was signed in 1992, it was going to expire in 2027. This is still the case. We have started conversations with various appropriate council people and also our current landlords, Panuku Development Auckland now, who I feel I should mention are our 5th or 6th leaseholder in that time, because of course we signed with the Harbour Board originally and so forth, and it's handed on and on and on. So there are some other issues that tie with the lease, but our biggest concern, of course, is the tenure on Hobson Wharf. Our trust board is, of course, open to discussions around alternative locations, although we are quite happy being there in the heart of the CBD. The one thing that isn't really negotiable for us, I suppose, is under our current configuration, we really do need a waterfront site. And one that's easily accessible, and they're hard to come by, of course, particularly one as positive as the location we've got at the moment. But that is a broad conversation. So the short answer, Mike, is no, we have not yet had resolution on our tenure, but we are talking about it very heavily and to numerous people, and everyone's, of course, aware. So I think that's the initial thing as well. Part of the big thing for us recently was making the new trust board of Panuku Development Auckland, who are of course fresh to all of this, aware of that particular situation, and our trust chair and their trust chair have spoken on that issue, and I believe conversations will be ongoing.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. It's a
Thank you all.
Positive report there. We next have Auckland Arts Festival. I'm sorry, I'm not too sure of names here.
Sean Roberts on the left, David Inns.
Should get Linda to introduce you.
That's right.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning. My name is Rick Carlyon. I am a member of I am a trustee of the festival and have been involved since 2008 and have chaired their finance committee since that time. John Judge, our chairman, is sending his apologies this morning. He's out of Auckland, and so he's asked me to come along in his place. With me I have Carla Van Zong, who is our artistic director for the festival, and David Inns, who's the general manager of the festival, and Shona, Shona Roberts, I beg your pardon, Shona, who looks after the finances for the festival and is very involved in the administrative side of what we do.
You?
We currently have 9 trustees. We've got 4 relatively new trustees. They are Margaret Kawhoro, Sarah Judkins, Evan Davies and Ben Tafua. So we have a pretty diverse group of people assisting as trustees. The major change in the festival's activity is to go to an annual festival. Auckland Council's agreement to support the annual festival with an additional funding grant of $1 million per year has made this possible, and the Trust is truly grateful for this additional support, without which we could not have taken this step, and this change brings us into line with all the major Australian cities' festivals. The festival also receives funding from Creative New Zealand, Foundation North, Lion Foundation, Pub Charities, and the New Zealand Community Trust, corporate sponsors and individual givers. Box office is the other major income stream. This funding allows us to provide a major program of New Zealand and international work, reaching a regional and national audience. The Trust's vision for Auckland is to be a leading international arts festival, celebrating Auckland's peoples and cultures, promoting the social, cultural and economic well-being of Auckland. This is the core to its program philosophy and delivery. I'm going to now ask David to give you a little more detail on our activities.
So our most recent festival is 2015 and our next festival starts next Wednesday. Just summarising the 2015 festival, which was very successful for us, both in terms of artistic excellence and audience feedback. We had 180,000 people attend events across the festival. The box office was 2.3 million, which was our second best. The year before that we exceeded it slightly because Group F had fine weather. A number of shows sold out. The education program engaged more than 75 schools and 8,000 students. We had 145 ticketed events and 53 free events. From time to time, the Festival Trust takes on complementary activities to maximise the skills and experience of its staff, and is importantly to give great opportunities to Auckland artists and arts workers. And during the last 12 months, we've undertaken 2 activities. The first was to reproduce the show Lady Sings the Blues, which sold out during the festival. We reproduced that for the Auckland Live International Cabaret Festival in August, where it once again sold out, and involved 20 artists working on that and 10 of our staff. And on an international level, we programmed and contracted New Zealand artists to appear in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade's functions held in 10 ASEAN countries as part of the 40th ASEAN Anniversary Awards program, and that ran from April to November.
Kia ora koutou. Currently, as you can see if you look out your window, the festival staff and team are working on delivering the 2016 festival, which will begin next week. The blessing for the square and the festival will be on Tuesday next week outside with 3 different iwi clusters represented. The highlights of the festival in 2016 include the James Plays, a great international trilogy, internationally acclaimed trilogy of English language theatre, and French company Caraboss's Fire Garden in the Domain, which is a low-cost ticketed event for multi-generational audiences, as well as a wide range of international work never before seen in New Zealand. We feature high-quality contemporary work by artists from Singapore, Great Britain, Scotland, France, Belgium, Argentina, Italy, the United States, the Solomon Islands, Australia, and for the first time ever, a work in the Korean language, which is a very important part of our focus, as we've done before in Mandarin. There's also a very strong and innovative program of New Zealand work telling the stories that reflect Auckland and its diverse populations, including work by Māori and Pacific practitioners, and our first ever international co-production between the New Zealand Pacific company Black Grace and an Asian company with Chinese choreographer Shui Boon Kook. We balance popular and more challenging work, free and ticketed events in an effort to appeal to as wide an audience as possible. We especially focus on events for all age demographics, and this year we have a very strong schools program, a large public program for families, and workshops in everything from b-boy dancing to circus. So there are many kids in Auckland doing these kind of workshops with international artists. We have our first ever presentations in Piha, Waiheke, Te Oro in Glen Innes, and Te Po in New Lynn. Of particular interest are the increased number of partnerships with a range of New Zealand arts companies, including the APO, New Zealand Opera, the Royal New Zealand Ballet, Auckland Art Gallery, Auckland Museum, Auckland Maritime Museum, Black Grace, Atamira Dance Company, the new Think Science Trust, as well as young emerging companies and artists from around the country. These relationships are core to building the festival program and the arts in Auckland through maximising resources, skills and databases. We have our first event highlighting graffiti art with graffiti artists from South Auckland in Aotea Squared. You can watch that developing out your windows over the next 3 weeks. And last night I spoke to 50 volunteers who will work on our expanded White Night. And we already heard the Maritime Museum is involved with an incredible tape art exhibition. But White Night includes everything from lit-up bike tours on the new bike path to performances on the free buses that run around the city, include people like South Auckland Poets Collective and Whiteface Crew. So there's a very wide variety of performances on those buses, and we have Korean musicians visiting from Korea who are performing in the central CBD, the waterfront, and on the North Shore. 3 of the new works we are co-producing with Wellington's Festival and will be staged in both festivals. 4 other works are being co-presented. This has increased opportunities for New Zealand artists to have more resources to develop their work to a greater degree and to reach audiences in both cities. This is an exciting initiative for the development of New Zealand work on an international scale. The 217 program is well underway. We will continue to put a programming emphasis on increasing our reach to all Aucklanders, people of all cultures living in the city and different age demographics. We hope to attract an increasing number of young people, many of whom have little or no experience of live international art. We will provide events that would not take place in Auckland otherwise. We will retain a strong focus on Māori and Pacific artists and further develop new New Zealand art work by Asian New Zealand artists. We will bring contemporary international work that will showcase a range of Auckland's significant immigrant communities. In 2017, we have already identified work from China, India and Taiwan that will feature. And we are currently in discussion with Ngāti Whātua ki Ōrākei to partner on a major new initiative for Auckland. We will continue to partner with Auckland's major arts organisations, including the APO, New Zealand Opera, the Auckland Museum, the Auckland Art Gallery, the Maritime Museum, Te Tuhi, Te Uru and ATC. And we are currently beginning a new community diversity project that was co-funded by Creative New Zealand and Foundation North. This project will reach out to 5 different areas in Auckland and be in partnership with communities and existing venues and institutions in each of those areas. And we are in negotiation to program one large-scale free international event that will be both fun and offer exciting new learning experiences for multi-generational audiences and families. We hope to increase our stakeholder investment through individual giving, and we use this particularly, our patron donations, to increase and create accessibility to events. And finally, I just want to quote a 4-time Tony Award nominee. Festivals promote diversity. They bring neighbours into dialogue. They increase creativity. They offer opportunities for civic pride. They improve our general psychological well-being. In short, they make cities a better place to live. Kia ora.
The Festival Trust is committed to being annual. We see it as a model that will make us grow more sustainable and be a great far better delivery for Auckland. In being annual, the festival will be able to continue to deliver and build an event that brings economic, cultural and social benefits to Auckland, attracting national and international visitors as part of New Zealand's annual major events calendar. It'll let the festival continue to play a key arts leadership role in Auckland that benefits the wider arts and events community through training, mentoring, co-productions and significant employment of Auckland artists and arts workers. It'll let us retain a much stronger and ongoing brand and market presence. It will allow us to use a wide range of council-owned venues and council-supported venues and build new audiences for these and revenue, of course. Allow us to showcase Auckland, to promote Auckland artists nationally and internationally, and importantly, retain a highly skilled arts and events workforce for the benefit of both the festival and Auckland in general. We believe that the festival benefits Aucklanders. It aligns with the Auckland Plan to increase the number of Aucklanders actively participating in the arts, to increase the number of people employed in the creative sector. We focus on a broad program with something for everyone, young and old, across the Auckland region, to reflect Auckland's diverse communities and to celebrate Auckland's unique cultural identity. Just like to, in closing, thank Auckland Council for their support and the Auckland Registry Funding Board, who we work closely with, and also 2 of our major funders, Foundation North and Creative New Zealand, who without we couldn't do such an exciting New Zealand program. Thank you.
Thank you, and very good to hear. So any questions, councillors? Councillor Clow.
It's not a question, I just want to I believe, Carla, it's your last festival?
17ers. I'm halfway through program 17, but that will be my last
Okay,
festival,
I was
yes.
17. Okay, sorry, I was going to thank you very much for all you've done for the arts
Let it go just yet.
in Auckland.